One of the things I wanted to ask you about is you have a background that is in independent schools, it's in charter schooling, you've worked for a state department of education, and you've taught at a university. You've also been a business person. In your opinion, is there a different skill set that is needed for the leader of a charter school than might be needed for the leader of a traditional public or independent school?
Yes, and I would say so. I don't think it's necessarily different, but I think the levels of certain things are greater in one area than another. For instance, politically, since we mentioned that earlier, I think there's nothing in school that you do, whether you're in an independent school or a traditional public school or a charter school, there's nothing that doesn't involve the political realm. Whether this child got 78 or 79, or whether you're spending $20 million for a new building and everything in between. And, yeah, so the politics are there. I think the biggest piece is when you're in an independent school, you can confine your politics to you can close out the world and have your own little island. In traditional public schools, you can't do that. So you have to be much more aware of everything that goes on in the community, and everyone that's in the community and what their needs are. So that ramps bigger. In independent schools, you have to be much more aware of finance down to the penny, because when this child is here at school and they decide they no longer like your school, and dad was writing a check for $50,000 a year to the fund, and you're giving fund, now all of a sudden that impacts your bottom line pretty quickly, especially if it happens in multiple areas. So where in traditional public schools, you have a lot of X, now go do whatever you're going to do with that X. And the nice thing about the charter school piece, I think the biggest advantage of charter schools is that you don't have categorical funding to as great a degree as you do traditionally. You don't have to spend things in certain areas. You can actually move things around more. And I think that's the flexibility that I see is most advantageous for charter school. But yes, I think it's there are certain skill sets that you need to be much better. You need to be a much better business person to run an independent school or a charter school than you necessarily might be if you're having to run a traditional public school, because a lot of the financing things are going to be handed down to you. You need to spend X here, you need to spend X there, so you know what the X is. In our case, we have those decisions are made in my office with my staff, with my board. So I think the business side of it is much more of responsibility than